Welcome in, everybody. We're going to get started here. We only have one best of three today. It is going to be StoRm versus NAVI Jr. Yesterday, we saw StoRm up against Moneymakers. Moneymakers were able to take it in the end, and StoRm looking just a little bit, I don't know, off in that third game. I think you say, or was it just Moneymakers there? Because they did have a really solid game in the third game, right? Moneymakers and StoRm. In the second game, got themselves an actual StoRm here, Hurry. So coming into this one, Navi Jr. pushing Navi to 3 games as well. Hopefully we're going to get all 3 games, but any predictions coming into it?
I'm gonna go like this. If the games are longer, Navi Jr. are probably gonna take it, because what I've seen from them from the past tour and a couple of games here is that they are very good at slowing the game down, extending it, making it kind of boring to watch sometimes even, and then they end it, right? They know how to win later on. Whereas StoRm, I think because it's an echo, they definitely have more experience, and if they are to win this series, they're gonna have to use that experience to apply that pressure early on. Are they capable of it? I'm not sure. Like, StoRm didn't look convincing yesterday, let's just put it that way. They looked okay, but definitely not convincing as a team that every single gear works, and then they're gonna be able to end the game early.
Yeah, and coming through, like I say, Navi Jr., they looked really good. I thought StoRm were going to be one of these teams to blow everyone away, and it would have been down to like Navi and StoRm at the top to see who's going to go 7-0, who's going to go for the 6-1. But yeah, StoRm already dropping the series to Moneymakers. Moneymakers looking good, 1-1. In fact, looking at the table itself, just a quick run through. Navi Senior are 2-0, and then Team Sexy 2-1, picking up their second win, I do believe, with you yesterday, so we can talk about that a little bit. But yeah, Cybercats, Matreshka, Moneymakers, Navi Jr., and StoRm all 1-1, and then Sibe sitting down at the bottom 0-3. So there is a big grouping in the middle of the table there. And that second one between Team Sexy and Cybercats, or third one yesterday, I thought Cybercats going into that one might have been considered the favorites, but Team Sexy, how did they play? Were they just way too strong for Cybercats?
They played clean Dota. Let's put it that way. They didn't make many mistakes, and I have to say their drafts were good. Right, their drafts were good. They had an idea what they wanted to do, how they wanted to do it. Even in the first game, they played a draft that I'd say is they don't really have much in common. Some heroes do, but not too much. Like, they had the Shadow Demon Medusa, those two work together, but then nothing else that's gonna contribute to that. And then they have the Bounty Hunter and the Void Spirit. Sure, we go hunting, but we have nobody else. But they place themselves on the map so nicely around some of the objectives that eventually they got a slight lead. Eventually they pushed their enemies into fights they didn't want to have, and they waited for them there with the track kills. Once that happened, once the Void Spirit was farmed, they were just getting those up. So I think they came in very much prepared in that series, more prepared than Cybercats, who probably thought like, okay, we're just going to respond to what our enemies are picking and everything is going to be fine. Well, it didn't go fine because you lost 2-0.
And coming through, just mentioning the bounty hunter there, I've seen a couple of support bounty hunters. I've seen a couple of like core bounty hunters. Just to pick your brain about this, I'm seeing the core bounty hunters come out. In my opinion, they seem to be a bit of a waste of a slot on like that core role because they don't have that instant impact that you'd want them to have. How are you feeling about these core bounty hunters? Do you prefer it in the support, or do you think that it just the playstyle just needs to be refined for a core bounty hunter?
I think that there are games where a core bounty hunter can work. Support bounty hunter, it more relies on your lineup, whereas if you're playing a core, it relies on what the enemies have. In a sense that a core bounty hunter needs to have a good laning phase. If you're not having a good laning phase as a core bounty hunter, you're kind of going to be doing the job of a support bounty hunter, and you're going to be missing that core hero. So if you're playing the lane against something that wants to just farm and is melee, AM comes to mind, let's say. Slark comes to mind as well. Yeah, Slark can hit you, but you're very fast with the bounty hunter. Somewhere where you can utilize your gold steal and know your opponent like super good. That's where the core bounty hunter comes into play, and then you just snowball from there. Whereas a support bounty hunter, as I mentioned, he can work pretty much against any lineup.
Okay. And looking forward into this one, is there anything you've seen from the two teams here, Team StoRm as well as Navi Jr., that we might see pop up that maybe teams aren't playing in the meta, but these two teams feel comfortable with? I know Navi Jr., I know the Sven's getting more popular as well. Navi Jr., they've gone for a couple of Tidehunters there as well. So anything you might, see as a surprise coming through into the series?
From what I've seen, the teams have played played? No. Navi Junior are still a very young team, and young players nowadays, they can come up with something new, but when it's a high stress situation, probably somebody advises them stay with the tried and true, right?
Yeah.
So I don't expect that we're going to be seeing something out of line from them, like something completely out there. Whereas for StoRm, I think there are chances that we see something weird, but looking at the heroes that they've played lately, there's not really something that would jump out as, oh, this is weird. Maybe a position 5 Veno, but people are playing that as well.
Yeah, Venomant's, I like how it's coming back. You know, I think it controls. I think with the shift back to a lot of these melee carries as well, it is being able to maybe not dominate the lane, but it makes the lane hard for these melee carries to come out and, you know, try and do their job. So I'm not surprised that hero's coming back into it. I'm seeing in other events as well, just a couple of things like the core Winter Wyvern now. I've seen a couple of position 1s, a couple of position 2 Winter Wyverns. What is it, just because of that universal hero shift that's making the Winter Wyvern popular on that core role?
The Winter Wyvern core was always a possibility, remember now in playing it. Now it being a universal hero, I think people are trying it out to see how strong it can be. From what I'm seeing, I see no reason to assume that it's now stronger as a core than it used to be. Just because you don't naturally build into those items that are good for universal heroes. You still need like a Aghanim Scepter, you still need a Witchblade. So until you start getting those Mantas, those you know, Atoses and stuff, you're already as strong as you used to be. So I think that the hero is good, but probably didn't get such a huge buff as it did as some of the other universal heroes. But in the ultra late game, right, the 5-6 items, that's where this hero can be absolutely devastating for everybody. So I'm torn on the hero. I haven't seen it enough. I've seen it in some pubs worked out, but I think I need a little bit more of a sample size to really come to a worthy conclusion.
Okay, well, we'll see, you know, if it is going to be picked up anymore, especially today. It looks like we might be able to get ourselves into the draft soon. Everybody is ready. It looks like we're going to start to get ready to go. And yeah, looking through here, I'm just looking at StoRm. Again, StoRm opponents that they played. Moneymakers, I thought they were going to be able to jump above them. Yesterday, Moneymakers forced them to all 3 games. StoRm did look good with the Storm Spirit, went for something different with the Alchemist here, and the Chaos Knight popping up in the 3rd game, which didn't pay off in either game. Seems like they do feel comfortable with the Bat Rider here as well. You're playing it onto different lanes, playing it onto different roles. Against Matryoshka, Terrorblade came out still there with the Storm Spirit. They had the Pango as we get ourselves into the draft. So we'll see what the bans are going to be. It is going to be the Medusa as well as the Bat Rider. Timbersaw goes here, and the Bloodseeker, so they go straight for the Magnus on Navi Jr. And Timbersaw, first phase ban, you know, how do you feel about that one?
I mean, it's a classic hero that counters the universal heroes currently, so it wouldn't surprise me if Navi Jr. open up with 2 of those. A Magnus Void Spirit has been somewhat of a staple opening, let's say a week and a half ago, considering that the meta is still young, it's still rapidly changing. So, you know, we're getting these additions of heroes like the Spirit Breaker, like the Dark Willow, like the Winter Wyvern that you mentioned, that just battered as well, that weren't utilized immediately, and that's how things are changing. Timbersaw also has become vastly popular because of his ability to deal with the universal heroes, literally just killing every single one of them with relative ease. So I do like the ban. Some teams have started getting rid of the hero. He just seems pretty powerful.
Yeah, this does leave the Doom, the Beastmaster in here. We're going to see Pugnas and Storms. Beastmaster comes out right here for Storm. Yeah, the Pugna Storm Spirit. We've still got the Venomancer in there as well that you were speaking about before. It is going to be the Pugna Storm here as Navi Jr. goes straight in for the Pangolier. So, I mean, with the Bloodseeker Timbersaw ban, good pick up there for them. And now they ban out the Storm Spirit. Yeah, maybe saw the second game between Storm and Moneymakers yesterday. Feelings about the Pangolier coming out, especially up against a Pugna here in the game so early on in the draft?
I like Pango as a hero. I love it with the Magnus in power. I do not like it versus the Beastmaster. That's just how it is. I'm very surprised that Navi Jr. allowed the Beastmaster to go through, because remember what I said, fast games. Who's one of the best pushers, one of the best Roche takers? Who's the one that enables his lineup to end it early? Beastmaster does. Pugna also does help you at taking down those early towers, while Navi Jr. maybe want to farm. And looking at the heroes of Navi Jr., they do want to farm. Magnus constantly wants to be hitting creeps, and Pango, well, at least until he gets his Diffusal Blade, he's gonna be focusing more so on farming than on fighting. So I'm not saying I dislike what Navi Jr. came up with, but I think that they allowed StoRm to get exactly what they wanted.
Do you think they go for something else? I know the Chen's been banned out here because Seneko will never ever be given that Chen again, it seems like. But would you expect a little bit more push potentially to come out, maybe in the form of an Enchantress here for StoRm as well, to really put the pressure on the lanes and try and take some quick towers before the Magnus and the Pangolier can have an impact in the game?
I think so. I think you pick up an Enchantress here, especially now with the techies being banned out, because first of all, it's gonna annoy the Beastmaster, it's gonna annoy the Pugna the Crep, and Navi Jr. with these two cores, they do need a solid laner as their hero here. So StoRm, you take that Enchantress away from them. I think it would be a really nice approach.
Okay, well, we'll see what StoRm are going to be going for on this ban. I mean, they're ticking through some of the reserve time to think about this as well. Maybe considering all the points to see, you know, just how they have to work this one. It's going to be the Mirana ban. Okay, good setup, I guess, from the Skewer. Arrow into the RP. It's a nice hero. You know, the damage coming through to Crapify is going to be there with the Starstorm comes out, does a lot of damage to whoever gets Crapified. Meanwhile, StoRm, they go in for the Spirit Breaker, and yeah, good shot down heroes.
Shadow Demon, let's go Navi Jr. Like, no brainer Shadow Demon pick here. There is absolutely no reason not to go for it right now. You could go for Shadow Demon Enchantress if you want to, or you could go Shadow Demon plus a support that gives you some kind of team fight, but you don't have to because you already have the Pango and the Magnus, so you don't have to rely on that as your support. So Enchantress, Shadow Demon seems like a pretty good response here to what StoRm have.
Yeah, I would like that. I've seen the Disruptors being played as well onto, you know, trying to deal with the Spirit Breaker, just being able to bounce him around with the callback, you know, the kinetic field coming out as well, just catching him, stopping it down. But it will be that Shadow Demon coming out, and Navi Jr., what else did he want to be picking up? As I assume you're going to be able to hear my dog in the background once again. Probably one of them has something that the other one wants.
Oh, okay. You know what? E-collar, then you have like buttons like
No, yeah, just,
yeah, people are one day people are gonna think I'm serious. There's the Enchantress as well.
Yeah. So, okay, good pick. Again, it offers some push down on the lane, while the Pangolier and the Magnus, like I say, they try and get themselves a farm, get themselves into a good position. Meanwhile, what do you want to see as a response here from StoRm with the lineup already out for Navi Jr.?
Queen of Pain. Let's go. They go for the Morphling. I really wanted to see a Queen of Pain here because, first of all, it lanes well versus the Pango. They need some magic burst. They need the magic damage to kill the Enchantress as well. That's going to be invading their jungle. And Morphling is nice. The thing with the Morphling, though, is that your illusions are going to be a nuisance for you as well. And there's that Winter Wyvern ban that you were talking about, but I think the Queen of Pain needs to go for sure, because she's a hero that could really well deal with the Shadow Demon and the Enchantress, and doesn't really care about any of their slows or whatever.
Okay. And looking at on Navi Jr.'s side, you've said the illusions from the Shadow Demon. Do you want to be playing something like, you know, other illusions, maybe the carry Magnus and come out and get a Darkseer here up against the Morphling and really put the pressure on the lane? Or do you think there's something else that Navi Jr. could look to maybe put some early pressure onto this Morph and, you know, stop it from getting an early roll?
The only reason I wouldn't like a Darkseer here is because you do not have a good hero to lane with it, though. Actually, the Enchantress is pretty good to lane with it because you get a creep and you shell it. Yeah, you could go that route. I think it's a pretty nice route. The thing is that mostly it has been offlaners playing the Magnus. I don't remember when's the last time I saw a safe lane Magnus, and I've watched a lot of games. Of course, I haven't watched all of them. It does come out from time to time in competitive games, but people have mostly been putting it in the offlane role.
Okay. So StoRm, final ban. They actually ban out the puck, so the Queen of Pain is still there. So looking for that, I assume still for StoRm to come into this one. The Void Spirit, I'm not being silly, right? The Void Spirit, the StoRm did get... No, I'm not seeing it. Okay, so all the spirits are still there. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, second, yeah. So, but the Ember Spirit, the Void Spirit are still there. Navi Jr. will see here. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be the Pangolier mid. So what? Queen of Pain still here for StoRm?
10 seconds
Yeah, I think it's the best one. Though what's best for Navi Jr.? The Jugger did get banned out. That would have been amazing. Looks like a solid... Okay, so they're gonna go for the Void Spirit. It might actually be a carry Magnus, though. Probably a carry Void Spirit here for Navi Jr.
Yeah. Do you like this, though? I mean, you got 3 Universal Heroes coming into a Morphlin, and the Morphlin at some point will be going to the Ags for the extra stat steal. Do you really like this draft from Navi Jr.?
I mean, who do you take? Who do you take, Rob? Imagine, like, if you're a Morphling, you're gonna stay there being decisive. You know, if you would go to a supermarket and there's only one kind of soap to buy, you're gonna buy that kind of soap. But if there's, like, 10 types of soap, then you're gonna be standing there and wasting your time and your life. So that might happen to the Morphling here, not knowing who to turn into. Just kidding, of course. It's probably gonna be the Magnus that you turn into in this game, because he probably will have the most stats and you want the Empower. But either way, I do like it, because even if the Morphling turns into one of them, you still have 2 of those that are gonna be doing massive amounts of damage.
Yeah, and looking at the lineup here for StoRm, and it's going to be the Snapfire in the mid lane here for Nicky Cool. Yeah, carry on the Void Spirit, so it's going to be Richmond in the mid lane on the Pangolier. So Pango versus Snapfire. What are the strengths of the Snapfire coming into this Pangolier? You know, how do you think the StoRm are going to be able to play around Nicky Cool?
Well, Snapfire in general crushes melee heroes because the Scatter Blast does way too much damage if you're close, and that's the main issue. So the Snapfire will be great, and I'm very curious to see how it's gonna work, because out of all the heroes that got changed to Universal, I haven't seen the benefits that much on a Snapfire, because I haven't really seen a farmed Snapfire with a little Shredder just destroying everyone. So I'm looking forward to seeing if Nicky Cool can make it work.
So do you not think we're going to see, because some, you know, mid lane on the Snapfires, we were seeing the Guardian's Greaves coming out, you know, protection items like that, maybe into a Solar Crest on the old patch. But do you think we're going to see some more, like you say, start building items, just go for that right click, really try and build into that little Shredder here for Nicky Cool, do you think?
Yeah, it would be cool. Atos, Manta, things like that would be pretty awesome to see. I don't know if we will, but that is why this hero hasn't been picked a lot. So Nicky Cool will show me at least something new, something that I haven't seen for quite some time.
Yeah, and I did ask for something new to come out for these teams, as we will be able to get ourselves in it. But first, we're going to take a quick word from our sponsors over at EGB, and then we'll get into game number 1 right after this.
Bets on esports, bets on streamers, impressive bonus system, welcome bonus up to $600, cashback, artifacts, regular promotions, daily giveaways. Try yourself as a bookmaker. Great lines. EGB.com, more than just a bookmaker.
I can press my buyback.
Okay, so getting into game number 1. Harry, I forgot to ask you as well. Lineups, preferences coming into this one. Which one do you think's stronger here in game number 1?
I'm gonna have to go with Navi Jr. just because I think the Shadow Demon is such a good pick. I think it literally counters every hero on the side of StoRm, and I just can't go against it, right? You can see StoRm, they have this good pushing lineup, a lot of physical damage, ability to take over the map and all of that. But the thing is, Navi Jr. with the Shadow Demon, they really have a tool to deal with everything, right? So Navi Jr.'s lineup is not easy to execute by any means, but if they do execute properly, I think they've got a really good shot.
Okay, we'll see how they're going to be able to play this one then here, as well as 1J is just doing a little bit of a dance. You know, he's getting into it, he's getting hyped, he's feeling it. He's ready on this Pugny, you know, he wants to get himself going. As it looks like we are going to see another 4v5 group up here, as the Morphlin's already started to move himself away. No offensive wards coming out here. Got the juice in the river, just hanging around, see in... Is he going to try and snatch this one? No. 1J, he's moving himself in. He's pushing back. And it looks like we might just have a 2-for-2. But the bottom rune going the way of the Dire in the top lane. Yeah, both teams posturing just a little bit there.
I mean, it's all about dominance, asserting dominance. You have dogs in your house. You see when you're not there to control them, immediately they're barking at each other, right? So here you just stand your ground. You show your pecs and everybody just runs away. You won.
Yes, that's exactly how you train dogs, Harry. That I am so glad you're up to date with your dog training. You just show your pecs, and they
you show your teeth. That's why Caesar Milan is so good at training dogs. You saw how big of a jaw he has when he laughs in those dogs. They're like, no, screw this. This guy can bite harder than I can.
I don't think I want to put that to the test either way here, as 1J going to be taking a lot of harass in the top lane. And yeah, so the Enchantress coming up against the Pugna here as well. I mean, the Enchantress will have that enchant for the basic dispel. So to clarify, how useful is that actually going to be from the Pugna, at least in the laning stage for protection? Do you just throw it out offensively?
He won't skill it up at all. I think you just skip on it. Even later on in the game, it's probably not going to be that useful, but it can always come in handy. You know, you can't purge off everything. You're going to have one demonic purge and one enchant, and that's about it.
I mean, I've seen a lot of the voids go for nullifiers as well as an item, so yeah, I think they're going to start to stack up here as 1J. Again, trying to trade out with Enchantress, but Riddy's he's just throwing these impetus out here, and Pugna coming off the worst. Can't get in range for the Nether Blast without putting him in range for a couple of right clicks here from the Enchantress. And for Emptiness on the Beastmaster, I've seen a couple of different builds here. The Beastmaster sometimes, I mean, he's got the Helm of the Overlord, excuse me, the Helm of the Dominator queued up into the Mana Boots. So are you expecting the Beastmaster to be building the Greaves or like a pipe to come out, or do you just think he goes straight in for the Drums of StoRm after the Overlord?
But it is not a good pipe game. I just wouldn't see him going for anything else other than Overlord, BKB, Blink, those kind of items. Drums of StoRm, okay, I think are gonna be a luxury item if the game is going really, really well.
Okay. So not rushing it right off the bat like we see some of the Beastmasters do. Yeah, okay, that's fair enough.
PMA is in trouble.
Meanwhile, yeah, bottom lane, PMA is going to be taking a lot of harass here. Seneko, he might be able to get a couple. If he gets that bash, he might be able to take PMA down. PMA turns himself around. He's looking for the skewer. He's going to be able to get the shockwave damage. Doesn't actually have the skewer cleaved up. But yeah, that shockwave in just to pull into the damage range there. And Seneko maybe just getting a little bit overconfident.
He relied on luck. He tried to get that there with luck, and the 70% just didn't work for him that well.
Yeah, and now with the charge coming in, Seneko, he might be able to still... No, bash mid lane though, Nicky cool. Richmond's going to be taking a lot of punishment here from the Snapfire coming through, and I think Richmond had to use a ward string. He's got himself one bottle charge left, but we take a look at this mid lane. Like you say, this mid lane is being dominated here by the Snapfire, because every time Richmond comes in, you've got that Scatter Blast come out, you've got the cookie, and Richmond just cannot sit in this lane comfortably.
Yeah, it's too easy to connect. It's just stupidly easy to connect. There's nothing that you can do about it. You're just standing there and waiting to take immense amounts of damage, and that's it.
Guys, so top lane, Axes are going to fly through. Richmond again needs to get himself back underneath the tier 1 tower. In the top lane, we're going to see a little bit of damage, but it looks like Dave's on the bottom lane now as well. The bash comes out as well as that adaptive strike. Who's going to be able to get the disruption off? It doesn't matter, as Krilliat still picks up that kill. So we are 1 for 1 now. Krilliat getting that kill on the board. Going to be nice there for the Morph, just for that little bit of extra gold, a little bit of a harassless lane for a few seconds here as well. A nice vacation from the damage coming out from those Shadow Poisons.
To be honest, this is already looking quite scary for Navi Jr. because every lane is going very well for StoRm, and we talked about them and their timings and the Beastmaster, early push and stuff like that, and how Navi Jr. like to play the game. This could be very dangerous. Like, imagine if 3 minutes in, Krilliat has a Manta and a Aghanim Scepter, and all of the other lanes went well for his teammates as well. You could just end the game right there and then by taking Roche. So, Navi Jr., this is... I mean, right off the bat, not looking great for them.
Yeah, and 1J is going to be taking some punishment, but the Axes fly through onto Riddy's in the top lane, and Riddy's has to back himself away from this. Didn't actually go for a point in the Nature's Attendance either. Bottom lane, PMA is going to be the chase down Seneko. This time he does get the kill underneath the tier 1 tower. Dave's trying to do what he can with the disruption onto the Morphling, but he had to just move himself away 2v1, even underneath the tier 1, needs to protect himself. And so if you're Navi Jr. here, you were talking about, you know, all 3 lanes going bad for them. Do they need to kind of take some focus off the side lanes, maybe, you know, rotate the supports into the mid lane, or, you know, maybe get a twin gate activation going? As Emptiness on the top lane, he's going to get low here. StoRm, though. 1J comes through, and Riddy's will go down. 1J trying to move himself away. Now the ward will be there as well as that Nether Blast, and got the juice. just taking some punishment. So yeah, what did Navi need to do to try and get themselves back into this one 5 minutes in?
I mean, not all of their lanes went badly. I mean, the Morphling is still... The White Spirit is still farming well. So that's nice, and the Pango will be able to play. It's all about, you know, if you will get those early rotations, but knowing Navi Jr., they probably have improved in the last month or so when they didn't play that many tournaments, but they tend to want to slow things down. It's not going to be easy in this game in particular.
Well, it's going to be heating up in the mid lane. Seneko, he was hiding right behind the trees on that tier 1. The charge comes through, the Muddy Kisses start to rain down here, and the Snapfire able to get the kill onto Nicky Cool. And yeah, so, I mean, I'm just looking at it. Even if the supports rotate, it's going to be so hard with the Seneko just being able to get himself around on the Spirit Breaker. You know, this is kind of like the ultimate Roman support hero on the Spirit Breaker. And Navi Jr., you can see already they are starting to suffer. I mean, Richmond just got picked off with that.
Yep. He used the Swashbuckle, he only had the Shield Crash, and even that didn't work out well for him because he got charged and bashed before he hit the ground, so no Shield Crash for him. And look at just what's happening to him. This is just so freaking annoying.
Yeah, and he's even teasing the Rolling Thunder there as well, but taking so much harass before he can get it out. We're going to see on the bottom lane a charge coming out onto PMA. PMA can get himself away from this one. Tried to get the Shockwave off, but Seneko just going to back himself away. So it does look like the supports are going to leave Magnus alone. I mean, Magnus level 5, he's got himself the Vanguard. 3 points into the Empower. At worst, he just goes into the jungle for the farm, right?
Yeah, the Magnus will be fine, right? It's just that kind of a hero. Even with some of the CS issues, look at him. He's still slightly ahead of the Morphling, and he's the one that died once. So it's always going to be okay for this hero.
Yeah, and Seneko was able to get a rotation around. Takes out the Wisdom Rune here as Daze. Well, Daze, he was looking to get some stacks off, so he was momentarily distracted, but the stacks actually go in the way of Nicky Cool. So Nicky Cool going to say, thank you very much, Shadow Demon. I'm going to be taking away at least half of that quad stack here in the camp. And now Richmond rotates in, tries to clean it up, but they know this is here now. The Magnus even has to come in, offers the Empower to Richmond. That ancient stack, no way that Richmond's going to be able to take that this early on.
You know, the Bugs Bunny communist meme? Like our stacks, that's how it felt there. Yeah, so StoRm, they just come over. Oh, thank you, comrade, for stacking those for us, and they're gonna be taking most of the little ones, even some of the big ones away.
Yeah, and the Beastmaster now on the other side in his own triangle, going to be able to get these stacks out here as well. So I think that's going to be the Helm of the Dominator coming out at about 200 gold. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Seneko could be put under pressure. Do they actually get off? Cookie comes through now as well. So Nicky Cool gets himself a regen rune. Daze will go down. The Multi Kisses start to get dropped. Richmond has got that Rolling Thunder. Are they going to be able to do enough with it now as well? Seneko, he has that charge up in 5 seconds. Riddy's rotating around. Can they get the kill onto Seneko at least? Surely they can. No 1J. He's going to get cliffed. He gets cliffed. He's safe. Oh, the rotation got the juice. He's going to be able to get the kill. 1J could be in trouble now as well. Dodges off that Remnant. Swashbuckle won't connect, but Richmond will be able to get the kill. And, well, Nicky Cool going to be slowed down, but he's got himself a regen rune, so just needs to get himself out of range here. And while this is going on, Beastmaster's just in the jungle saying, cool, I'm not being disrupted. I'm getting this free farm on the Ancients, and that's a nice trade for Navi Jr. though, right? Getting those 2 supports.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Spirit Breaker could have escaped there if you just charged towards the bottom lane, or even, you know, should have gone in. The thing is that he got scared when he started charging in from the high ground, and he immediately stopped it. That in the end cost him his life, maybe even cost the Pugna his life. Maybe 1J would have been able to escape if Seneko just went in a little bit, you know, with more confidence.
Yeah, I mean, the Spirit Breaker level 5 as well, getting close to the 6 thanks to that extra Wisdom Rune. Once that Netherworld, they're going to be able to get the Rod of Atos now as well onto the Pangolier. Pango, though, the one thing that comes up in 15 seconds, going to be a lot of damage coming through. 1J trying to keep Seneko alive, so Seneko will just be able to back himself away, going to the drums. So, is the Boots of Burn on the table for Seneko, or do you want to see something in between the drums and the full Boots of Burn completed?
I think you're probably going to be seeing something like a Solar Crest. It does make a lot of sense, because you do have a Morphling on your side, and I feel like Pugna will probably go for Pavis plus Glimmer or something along those lines.
Okay. Richmond Rolling Thunder is back up. How is he doing in terms of net worth? He's going to be about 2,000 gold behind now. Maybe he'll have to catch up a little bit with Seneko being Rolling Thunder, being disrupted, being pretty much everything here coming through. Seneko, again, stuck to the high ground, but Daves was still able to get the kill on Riddies. Even with the double damage, does he get the kill into 1J? 1J turns himself back into that impetus to try and take not max damage, and it looks like he's going to survive through that.
I think he would have lived even through the max damage, but it was... I always like when players are focusing on those little plays because you're just getting used to always doing everything that you're supposed to.
Yeah, just getting the optimal, you know, play out of that as well.
Yep.
Optimability. Well, I don't know if that's actually a word, but yeah. But 6 to 5, we've got the Ench and the Shadow Demon rotating now. Nikki Cool, how many points in the... Doesn't have any points in the Little Shredder, so has to take the tier 1 tower the old-fashioned way. Do you think this is going to be Nikki Cool still sitting in the mid lane if that tier 1 tower goes down, or is it roaming time now for the Snapfire?
Snapfire isn't really a hero that has some huge escape mechanism spell. I mean, other than the cookie, that's about it. So he's gonna be in the mid lane as long as the supports are there. Now when they start leaving, he probably pushes the lane and just gets the hell out. He's already a little bit too deep for my taste.
Yeah, the cookie comes out, TP's gonna be there though, and Nikki Cool just says, see you nuts. He's gonna be leaving himself, just, you know, just showing off there as well with the TP, spinning himself around on the Morty. As Seneko still going towards the drums, takes a couple of shadow poisons, but should be able to get himself out. No worse for wear here. Krilliat, just checking in with the Morphlin. How is our Morph Boy looking? Going straight towards the Manta. What do you think for the Morphlin? You know, Lincoln's after it, or what does he want to build into after the Manta?
Manta Eggs, 100%. Yeah, you're versus 3 universal heroes, you just want it. And all of those universal heroes are good to turn into to begin with. God, the Juice is in trouble.
Yeah, bit of damage coming through Riddies. There's going to be the multi-cases being dropped now as well. They do get the kill onto Juice. They get the kill onto Riddies, and even the Rolling Thunder's going to be stopped here. Now the strike comes out. Did he have enough to get the kill onto the Pango? The Pango with the swashbuckle up onto the high ground. So the first time in the game, getting up onto that high ground actually saves the hero's life.
StoRm got the top carry kill, the mid support kill, and the top tower. So pretty huge sequence of events for them, and this is what I was talking about. You lose the lanes, or you lose 2 of the lanes with the third one going relatively even, and that is going to be opening up so many possibilities for StoRm. If StoRm's lineup does manage to create chaos, that Shadow Demon that we talked about, he's not going to be able to utilize his strength in this game in particular. Big RP.
Yeah, it looks like bottom lane, they're going to be able to get some damage out. They get the kill onto Seneko, drag back now onto the Morphlin. Morphlin level 10, does he try and get himself away from this one? Well, there's going to be the cookie through. Banish from the disruption comes out. Shadow Poison ticking up, but it's going to be the waveform. And yeah, the Morphlin does get himself out alive. 1J just moving himself back here as well. And Krilliat, even with the Shadow Poison, he's going to live from that. So even though Seneko goes down, that's totally worth, right, to get the Morphlin out.
Yeah, fine. You did use a lot of TPs, but now it's not as it used to be. Remember earlier when I would say, oh, they TP'd so many heroes to the bottom lane and now they have nowhere to go? Well, now with the twin gates and with all of the camps surrounding the tower, it really doesn't matter all that much.
Yeah. Do you look for... They've got this tier 1 tower on the bottom lane here now on the side of Navi Jr. With Emptiness being so far pushed forward on the top lane, do you look for a twin gate rotation, or is it just back to farming, back to business here for Navi Jr.?
Radiant are scanning.
Knowing Navi Jr., I think it's back to farming, considering that they still have control of their triangle of the graveyard area. The Ancients are going to be there, and with Empower you can get massive amounts of farms. So, and knowing them as a team, I think that's something that they would want to do.
Yeah, they do draw a battle line to say roughly, whoa, they might be able to get the kill onto Juice. Juice, did he go too far forward now as well? It looks like they might be able to. Do they get the catch up here? Juice will be able to get the run away. It was so close there for Juice, but he was able to just disengage like the hero does. Maybe not actually. Seneko to get that charge in. He's already used another strike, but the Void Remnant goes down and Seneko will be caught.
Yep, it's just hard to connect the charge onto the Void Spirit unless you're coming from a weird angle from the fog. It's almost never gonna happen. He has 3 spells to dodge it. The Astral Step, if you go directly over the Spirit Breaker as he's charging, the Lethal Remnant and the Dissimulate just all stop the charge with relative ease.
Yeah, I do like that Navi Jr. sent the Pango and the Ench to try and hunt down onto the Beastmaster and, taking rough ideas where he might be, because before that kickoff onto Juice, they were just scribbling around the dire jungle saying, or the Pango putting his lines down saying, the Beastmaster's in here, the Beastmaster's in here, let's go get him. But Emptiness did take away that Watcher vision and then was able to move himself back into his own triangle. So Emptiness escaping the wrath of the rotation of Navi Jr., just maybe some early Spidey sense coming out here. And yeah, you can see him, again, just playing it on the edge of it, as there is going to be a rotation coming through from the side of StoRm.
Yeah, they're coming in and they want to fight.
Going to be able to get the charge onto... Did he get the full kill onto Daze now as well? They do. Daze is straight up down. Rolling Thunder comes through. Seneko going to be healed by the reverse drain coming through. Is that going to be in the big... Oh,
big one.
Catches onto 3 of the heroes. 4 of them. We're going to be able to clean up now as well. Richmond comes in. He's got that swashbuckle. Got a lot of damage here. And the Beastmaster will eventually go down, as it looks like the Morphling, he's trying to run himself away. Get a little bit of fun before he does exit. And the TP comes out. Yeah, everybody, loving what the PMA did there with the RP. It was a great one to get the catches out there, and only the Morph as well as the Snapfire able to get themselves out alive.
The thing is that when the Magnus doesn't have neither the Harpoon nor the Blink, you're not feeling threatened even one bit from that RP. But you should, because some people just know how to position themselves so well. The thing is that StoRm were looking really good before the level 6s of the Navi supports came out. The second that they have level 6s, you have to focus on them. You have to commit on them wholeheartedly to kill them, because the Demonic Purge is going to be a big problem for you. And then you kill the Shadow Demon, but you're too deep and everybody's running in to help the Morphling. Sets up a perfect situation for a Magnus to respond to.
Yeah, and now Navi Jr. at least evening up the kills, so we'll see who's going to break that first 10 kill parry next, because it's going to be next kill wins on that one. But Navi Jr., again, net worth wise, they've still got a little bit to catch up to do, because the Morphling top of the net worth with the Snapfire here as well. And usually the Magnus is like the Doom in the sense that he is going to get that farm. There's no real way to shut it down, but PMA just falling a little bit behind, has that Echo Saber now going into a Blink, so going to be able to get that reposition out with the Blink. And how much do you like this over just fully completing the Harpoon on the Magnus?
I think he feels like the enemies are gonna be playing together more than isolated, right? So then the Blink makes more sense, because you have more chances for a good RP. If you're going for a Harpoon, it's more to catch that one hero, pull him in and kill him. Kind of hard to do when there's so many enemies around.
Yeah, and well, it looks like StoRm, they've got this opening here. They're going to start themselves a Roshan, and it doesn't look like Navi Jr., if you know this is happening, it looks like they're not going to try and contest. So you're going to have I'm going to assume the Morphin, yeah, Koyak picks up the Aegis here. And StoRm, is it just going to look to be put pressure onto the tier 2s, take those objectives? And if it is, how did Navi Jr. try and slow this one down and just maybe, wait out this Aegis, or even try and take it away from the side of StoRm?
Navi Jr. have a good team fight. It's all about that one. So now having the Blink Dagger and the Magnus, I don't think that they're going to be letting the tier 2s drop so easily. You push out all of the side waves while the enemies are together. You use the glyph and then you come over to fight.
And we'll see what they're going to do here. They're going to be able to get the dive in. Seneko going to be taking a lot of damage coming through from this Void Spirit. The Void Spirit dives in. Seneko, though, will be getting loaded. Nice. Sam comes out onto the Morphling. And it looks like, yeah, they are going to try and run themselves away. The Magnus, he is slowly trundling over. He's trying to get himself in. But it looks like StoRm, they've already disengaged. So the smoke comes out. They've got that RP. Like you say, they've got that Blink Dagger here. Krilliat, he might be caught out. Shadow Poison comes across as well. Do they have that catch? They're going to have the slow. With the Diffuser Blade now as well into that drag back on the Void's Remnant, and it looks like they've got the lockdown. They have this Aegis. PMA, they are waiting. 1J with the drain onto the Void Spirit, but they're going to try and go onto the RP comes on the Morphling. Multiple kisses will start to fall, but they still get the kill onto Krillia, and now Nikki Cool. Well, he's just a beacon of molten kisses raining down. They know exactly where to go for him, and now Nikki Cool, they've got even more lockdown to come through. Nikki Cool going to be slowed down. They have the damage. They're going to have the charge in.
Nice
the kill
charge.
comes through. They take down Nikki Cool, and now Seneko 1J as well as Emptiness. Let's get the kill onto Daze. Daze Disruption, it's the defensive one. There is 3 heroes around here now as well. 1J gets the kill. To skewer back though onto Seneko. Seneko going to be dragged back. They're going to be able to get even more out of this on the side of Navi Jr. And it looks like the chase coming out for 1J. Does he get the kill onto PMA? There's going to be the Tumblr Toy jump forward now. Decrepify comes out, but on the backlines, Emptiness gets low. They do get the kill onto Emptiness. In fact, they might be able to get the kill onto 1J now as well. As the Magnus, he gets I can't even remember the word, but he gets himself out alive there. 5 heroes dead on the side of StoRm. Navi Jr., they lost 1.
Yeah, they lost 1. I didn't even think that was gonna happen. I think they just let the Shadow Demon go for no reason, because the 3 heroes that were left, their damage output is non-existent. The only thing that can do the damage is the Helm of the Overlord creep, and it was dead. it wasn't there. It wasn't doing anything. So Navi Jr., the second that they killed the Morphling and the Snapfire, that fight was over. I'm actually super surprised that StoRm didn't just cut their losses, but in the end, it's going to be ending up being so good for Navi Jr. This game is now fully in their control.
Yeah, and we'll see. I mean, the mid lane pressure that they can put out if they want to go for another smoke here, Navi Jr. Maybe to look for the gank, take down this tier 1 tower. There is still a tier 1 tower on the top lane here as well. So I assume they're going to be the objectives, but it was a great fight for Navi Jr. And now if you're StoRm, how worried are you of engaging into Navi Jr. after that fight went so wrong?
Things have now become very dangerous for you. You are gonna be super scared of engaging, and it's time to utilize your vision and capability to be everywhere on the map. That's what you need to do, because you do have the Boots of Travel and the Snapfire. You have a Spirit Breaker. You need to use this, right? So use your Ancient to push in the waves. Use your Manta Illusions to push in the waves. Try to separate the enemies and create chaos. That it doesn't matter where on the map. You should just be controlling the side lane so that you have control of the Twin Gate as well.
Okay, and the jump comes in now as well. Seneko gets caught up. I got the Juice. Juice is going to be able to get the kill. He tried to dodge off the Remnant, but Juice will still be able to take down Navi Jr. coming in with the smoke. They might, yeah, the Beastmaster having to try and take that Twin Gate exit, it looks like, gets himself away. So it looks like they are going to start to put pressure onto the tier 1. And even, look at this, the Shadow Demon getting revenge for that Stolen Wisdom Rune early on in the game. Takes the one away from StoRm. And I think he's going to be able to TP himself back, get that one on the dire side as well. But it looks like they might be able to get the jump onto the Beastmaster. Beast. Yeah, they want it. He's trying to hide himself in the furthest corners of the map. TP out. RP committed here. They do get the kill onto the Beast. Cost them an RP, which is down for the next 2 minutes or so. But that's still a really nice opening here for the side of Navi Jr.
Everything is working out for them. They recognize what the only play for StoRm is right now, to shove out the side lanes. So they're the ones that are controlling the area around the Twin Gates. You control the area around the Twin Gates. StoRm has to play closer to the mid lane. They play closer to the mid lane. They are together, and that doesn't benefit them. So then StoRm, they don't want to do it. They're going to be playing it risky, and that just means for Navi Jr., you have to be confident and fast. When you see a hero, go for it. Don't expect it to be a bait or whatever. Just kill a hero, because there's no way StoRm are bringing the whole 5-man or 4-man into still pushing the side lane. It would be too much of a waste of resources.
Yeah, and you can see that the Morphling, he's going to be about 1,000 gold away from the Ag Scepter here. So how much of a game changer is that for StoRm to try and win back their advantage he had in the early game?
Is the potential item that could give you a team fight win. Let's put it that way. So it is an item that StoRm are relying on to allow them to win fights, right? So it's going to be a really big bummer if they get that Aghanim Scepter, go for a smoke play, and do not win a fight, because that's going to be showing that everything that you've tried to do in this game just went to hell.
And who's the optimal target to morph into? Is it the Magnus for that extra, the drag back, the damage that you can put out, or do you want to be going on to somebody else, maybe the Void Spirit for his dive and the mobility coming out from that?
Oh, it's tough to say, but I would think Magnus is the best one just for the damage. I think the damage is something that you need. You need to be able to burst somebody down, and the right click of the Morphling being higher is definitely great.
Okay, and we saw the PMA, I think that was a reveal of the Harpoon, as they did get the kill onto Seneko. That drag back against Skewer, it's about half a... I'm not even going to say, no, it's about a full screen's worth of drag back there to get the kill. Speaking about getting the kills, are they going to be able to get the kill onto... Does he get himself away? Did they have the damage? It looks like they do. They take down the Pugna. 1J will fall, and a good setup, again, a good rotation. Navi Jr., they are hunting in packs here, and now they're going to be able to put some pressure onto this tier 2 tower in the bottom lane.
Okay, so scratch that for the Magnus. The stats of the Void Spirit are much higher. If you click on him, look at the difference between the Void Spirit agility and the Magnus agility. It's literally doubled. So yeah, it makes more sense than to turn into the Void Spirit.
Okay, yeah, no, all over 110 there on the Void Spirit, and the Magnus still rocking a 66 agi and about 70 int.
I mean, you try being agile, being like super fat and furry, and it's not easy.
It's not fat. He's like pure muscle. Do you think if it was fat, you'd be able to drag a hero back just with his horn?
Dude, do you ever watch like sumo wrestling?
Precious bounty.
Yeah, but have you ever seen a fat rhino?
They're all fat.
They're all muscle.
with fat, like a powerlifter.
Yeah.
They're not like bodybuilders. They're like powerlifters. So
Yeah, like the world's strongest man, like Eddie Hall.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
big
yeah,
dude
Eddie
and
Hall, Eddie Hall.
full muscle. But I've lost my train of thought now after through that
Anyways,
discussion.
I'm glad you said Eddie Hall, because I was like, yeah, let's mention Hafthor Bjornsson, and then like, no, Rob is British. We have to go for his guy. Let's go.
Yeah, we go for Eddie. As it looks like smoke coming out from both sides. Now it will break though. Soneko's going to try and get the charge in. The roar comes out. They've got the lockdown into the Pangolier. And again, the multi-kisses will start to rain down. They get one kill. Can they get the kill into the Magnus now as well? PMA with the drag back, but he's not going to be able to get anyone in that skewer. Just using it defensively, it seems like underneath the tier 2 tower. We'll see how far StoRm want to go with this one. Nicky Cool cleaning off the creep waves. There is going to be a creep wave pushing in. So maybe now with the Pango being down for the next 35 seconds, they look, fortification will be used, but we have the second creep wave to come in now. And do Navi Jr. look to strike back here as the jump comes in from the void? But it looks like StoRm playing together. They just know where they need to position to get the pressure onto this tier 2.
Nothing needs to be careful though. Even with 4 heroes, he can die.
I mean, he does have the axe coming out now, so a Lincoln Sphere broke on the Void Spirit. They do get the kill into Sneko. Sneko going to be dragged back. And it looks like StoRm, the Pangolier, is going to be up in 6 seconds. StoRm, do they want to look for the disengage? It looks like they are going to be backing themselves away. They lose a Spirit Breaker, but they do get a tier 2 tower. And, I mean, Spirit Breaker going to be up in the next 29 seconds as well. It's not an overly long respawn time. So this window for Navi Jr., do you think they go for a smoke and try and take out another pick before the Spirit Breaker comes back up?
You want to be on the aggressive, though. Setting up around the Roche is much more important than getting a pick off, and they're doing so by thinking about taking this top tier 1, and that is the most important thing. You take out that tower, it's going to be very, very tough for StoRm to get to the Roche area, and it's definitely going to be a dire side Roche.
Okay, and yeah, no, like you said, so 38 seconds with that coming back up. They take this tier 1 tower. How far are they going to go with it? There's a Tormentor up as well. It looks like they're going to back themselves where they are setting up around this Roche pit. And 28 seconds away here. Radi's just putting some vision down, getting those sentry down, as well as the obs to make sure nobody comes through the twin gate, make that into a killing box. If anyone does try to come through. While that is going on though, Navi Jr., they're looking to put some pressure on the other side of the map. They are grouping up as 4-5 heroes here, looking towards this tier 2 tower. So we'll see if they want to try and get in, contest that Roshan, because this tier 2 tower will be going down here, and you've got a Roche up in 6 seconds. So it looks like they might, at least Emptiness with the Black Dragon, might just want to continue to push.
Well, let's see. That is a smart move, because now you actually cannot go for Roche, because bottom lane, StoRm are way too close to your base.
Yeah, and they can see when nobody, looking to defend that tier 2, nobody posturing there, that they might be on the other side of the map. They are still going to be going to this Roche. So it looks like the Beastmaster coming in with the Black Dragon. Yeah, they've got the little shutter coming out onto the tier 3. And Roshan, it's not the quickest take in the world here. With all that damage coming through on the right clicks, it's still not the quickest. So it looks like Beastmaster, they're going to be able to take this tier 3 tower. They might even be able to get a range rack or something out of this here as well.
Yep, it's a lot of damage there. But Roche, I'd say more valuable. Even if you lose the range racks, it's not that big of a deal. Right now, Navi Jr., they should go for just constant push onto the enemies. Just try to fight over and over again. Look at the Beastmaster. He should be going down. They should know he's there.
Yeah, they get the vision on the cliff, and that's self-TZ. It won't matter. They get the kill. Beastmaster, well, he sees the funny side of it. He's got the FE laugh. He gives it the XD, and he's going to be fine with that.
Yep. I mean, now it's all about, can you outpush the lanes of Navi Jr.? That's the only thing that you desperately need, right? If you can push out the waves, if the waves are going towards your enemies, you're in such a great spot. If StoRm, on the other hand, are able to keep the lanes close to the base of Navi Jr., then it's going to be dangerous. So Navi Jr., in my mind, the second you see someone on the map, try to kill them if you're close enough. That's probably the best play. Or if you feel like you can, and I'm not sure they can, just storm the high ground, but that's a little bit of a tougher thing to do.
Yeah. Sneko. Oh, he TP's himself. I was thinking that Sneko was choosing to be the one to push out. He's got himself the Shuttle Blade here as well as the drums, so we're not actually going to see. It's going to be the Octarine here for Sneko on the Spirit Breaker. Tier 3 tower in the mid lane will go down. Charge coming through onto the end. Surely not. I was going to say, yeah, nobody else is there. Everybody else on the side of StoRm's either split pushing or just away from the base. So Navi Jr. setting to put on some pressure. Do you think they come back here on the side of StoRm, or do you think it's worth it to try and trade out a tier 3 for that tier 3 tower top?
Navi Jr. are always going to feel uncomfortable going high ground. That's just how it is. Yeah. So I think for now, it's just gonna be, I mean, they're gonna be feeling uncomfortable when the top lane is pushed in so much, right? Because just randomly, a Morphling and a Beastmaster could appear there and just take away all the entirety of your base. So you want to approach this one with caution.
Okay. Nicky Cool has the gold now for the crit stick on the Chrysalis. 4.1k gold here on that Snapfire, and it looks like he might try and defend this tier 3 on the bottom lane now. Swashbuckle comes out. Snake will be spotted, but PMA, he gets a dive in. There's going to be a really nice harpoon into the skewer back, and they get the kill now. But do they want to go for even more of this? It looks like they're going to back themselves away. So the multi-kisses again start to rain down here, and it's going to be the Pangolier that TPs himself back. So the Morph was able to bait a TP back. And now we'll see if they're going to try and take advantage of this on the side of StoRm. Well, somebody's taking advantage of it, but it is going to be the Void Spirit getting the kill onto 1J. So a 3v4 as the Pangolier starts to make this move right back towards the Radiant base. And the tier 3 tower being put under pressure here in the Radiant bottom lane.
Beautiful play of the Pango, and they send the right hero because he's probably the most mobile one that doesn't really care about using his cooldowns, so he's gonna be there in no time. You forced out the Morphling TP, you're super happy. Now you can go high ground, now you did everything right. And he also finds an Arcane Rune, so this Pango is gonna be stronger than he was previously.
Yeah, he even still has his bottles, so he's going to be able to pop that when he needs it here. And like you say, they've got the buybacks onto the Ench as well as the Shadow Demon. They've got themselves the cheese. The Age is still there for the next minute and 50 seconds. And, I mean, Pugna's going to be coming back alive now, so maybe it's going to be a reset here from StoRm. But is it a high ground defense for StoRm, or do you want to see one of those smoke wraps and look for a pick? As it looks like, actually, the charge comes in. They get the stun. Oh, they get the stop with the Skull Basher into the Spirit Breaker mid-charge. He was invis, so he doesn't get caught out, but that's still going to be a stop on the Relentless Charge there from the Spirit Breaker.
Let's see, Void Spirit, he's trying to push in the bottom lane, doing some damage to the range Raxes, kind of equalizing the Rax damage between them and StoRm and these Universal Heroes. How fast do they push?
Well, we'll find out here as well. As it looks like, again, the charge on the back line. They're going to be able to get the kill onto the Shadow Demon. Great wrap from Krillia, but there's going to be a good RP. Did they get the kill onto the Morph now as well? Morph trying to do what he can with that attribute shift into the Strength form. He's going to take the Magnus form now as well. Skewer comes through. Who is he hunting? He wants to kill onto PMA. PMA going to get a load of buybacks come through from both supports here on the side of StoRm. Trying to do what he can. Multi-Kiss is going to start to rain down. The Swashbuckle away here from Richmond. And Richmond, the Nether Strike does connect, but there's going to be the dive in. It's going to be a drag out. And oh, it doesn't connect. Aegis will pop though onto Richmond. And the damage coming through now. You've got a full reset. You've got 5 heroes. That's the dieback on the Spirit Breaker. The tier 3 tower is down, and it looks like they're going to go try and get at least a lane of racks out of this one. And StoRm might not be able to stop the push in here from Navi Jr.
Navi Jr. don't have to stop at all. They expended the RP, but the Morphling doesn't have his ulti now for 20 seconds, which means that his Aghanim is completely useless at the moment. So you can just continue pushing if you don't feel the fear, and you shouldn't.
No, and they're going to be able to get the harpoon, drive back onto the Morphling. Look at how quickly they burst him down. 68 seconds. And here, Navi Jr., they've got themselves still a 5-man roster, all knocking at the door of this tier 3 tower. They're going to be able to get themselves a second lane of racks. And here, with the Morphling being down, you see he's not buying back. You're getting these racks. Do you just go straight to your force?
You can, especially with these catches that are coming through.
Great jump onto the Beastmaster. The Beastmaster does have the buyback, but I think we might just be seeing here the end of game number 1. In fact, the Snapfire looking for maybe a last stand to come out here, as he is looking for the Daedalus. He's about... No, he's got the gold for it here as well, so if he TPs himself back, we'll be able to buy the recipe. Scan comes out. They know what Nicky Cool is, and Nicky Cool, if he goes down here, he doesn't have that buyback for 300 gold, but... I'm surprised that he didn't, once he had the gold for and had the Demon's Edge in his possession, I'm surprised he didn't TP himself back to it was on cooldown. That's why he didn't TP himself back to base. And now it does come out. Richmond, does he see it? He doesn't find the angle, and the Swashbuckle Bash won't be coming out onto the Snapfire.
Yeah, I would really want to get to speak to one of the players from Navi Jr. to ask them who the voice of reason is. Usually when we see young players, they're impulsive, they make mistakes, they do not play it safely. These guys, they are always disciplined, literally always disciplined. They never do something rash. They always go for the safe play when they know that the game is already in hand, which is not something that we can say for all the teams. Definitely not for the majority of the young players that get themselves into the scene.
No, and I'd like to think that I know... Oh, they're going to be able to get another skewer back onto the Morphin now as well. Morph tries to get the waveform away. There's going to be the dive in. Got the juice. Did he get the kill? Brilliant. Again, trying to do what he can with that strength Morph coming out. The damage is even going to be using a BKB, but the damage coming through from the Void Spirit. Do they have enough to get the kill? He's going to try and turn it into the Pangolier. Gets that swashbuckle away, and now PMA as well has got the juice. Have to run themselves out. They might just give up on Richmond. Richmond will die here, and now they might even get the end to the end. The control coming through really, so there's going to be the dive back in. 1J, he's going to be picked off, so that's going to be the RP. And the Enchi still isn't dead. The skewer comes back. They've got the control. Do they have the damage? And they're going to get a little bit of distance here. Enchantress trying to do what he can with the Nature's Attendants, keeping himself alive. They do still get the kill. They even take down Emptiness once again. Emptiness. Buyback comes out from the start by Emptiness. Has that buyback if he wants to use it now as well. Krilliak trying to do what he can with the full strength morph coming through. He needs all of that health, the harpoon, but the Magnus gets the dive in. Snako, he's invis. Do they have the reveal? There is going to be a sentry down. It looks like they might be able to get the kill. Riddies, he still survives, and they are going to be able to get a full cleanup here. The GG comes out from the side of StoRm, and Navi Jr. will be able to take game number 1.
Man, the supports of Navi Jr., even though they are not the stars, like, they're doing so much here. They're surviving, they're removing the bulldoze. What killed the Morphling there was the poison stacks from the Shadow Demon. He just didn't expect that damage to come through. It was beautifully played from them through and through, but Navi Jr., as I mentioned it in the draft, as the game goes later and you're not losing a lot, you have these universal heroes that do way too much damage, and Morphling turns into one of them. Sure, he has 400 damage. You have 2 400 damage heroes on the other side, or 300 damage, whatever. They just do pack a really big punch. And I mean, I said there, Navi Jr., they're very disciplined, and then right after it, they go and overdive. But in the end, it didn't really matter because they were so freaking strong at that moment.
Yeah, I'd like to think that, or what I was starting to say before the fight broke out, that because it is a Navi team, I know Navi haven't looked the best. I know people have joked about the quality of the side, but I'd like to think that the Navi junior players are benefiting from the full Navi experience. You know, the coaching, the analysts coming through, they have a full team behind them to, you know, guide these young players. And this is what we see. I mean, I'm going to make an example, or, you know, relate to the example out of Bait. Where you look at the players that have come out from Bait, I know people made jokes about, oh, Dendy should just retire, you know, he's past his age, he's past his prime. But you look at, was it Fishman and Watson that have come out from Bait? You look at the actual players that have come out from what effectively was an academy team and how they've grown. I mean, Watson, back on the Bait days, he was carrying, you know, he was looking so impressive that I knew he was going to be a star back then, before, you know, when people were laughing at him. So yeah, hopefully Navi here, they are benefiting, Navi Junior benefiting from that, and it seems to be paying off for them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, these are young players, and the thing is, they don't have that older, more experienced player in their line. So first, they're just playing with somebody their age, close to their age, somebody that you're gonna be easy to befriend. And then once if they stay with this team, but what's more likely to happen is that at some point they start dispersing to some of the other teams, and I'm expecting that at least 1 or 2 of these guys are gonna be becoming stars in the next couple of years.
Yeah, and we're going to see how they're going to do in the next couple of hours, though, as it looks like, you know, Navi Junior moving themselves in, and this is, again, the quality that they've shown coming up against Navi Senior, and StoRm just weren't able to stand up to it. So we're going to see if they're going to be able to carry this on, keep themselves disciplined, or StoRm, will they make another fight back happen the day after they've just tried to go 2-1 as well? Well, we'll find out after this break. We'll see you then for the second game of Navi Junior versus StoRm.